one accidental kiss. We try our best to do this. Analyze Asian dramas and not relive the trauma. Now that you know what's in store, just sit back and tune in more. Please enjoy our podcast, Accidental Kiss.
Welcome to Accidental Kiss. On this podcast, we analyze the representation or lack thereof in Asian dramas from the perspective of drama fans. I'm Watanya, I am Lao or Laotian, whichever term you prefer, and I basically grew up with Asian dramas.
Thanks for tuning in. My name is Faith. I'm a Black U.S. citizen who was maybe a little too obsessed with Asian dramas in her college days, but now wants to rekindle her love for them through this podcast.
In part 2 of our second episode, we are going to continue discussing the representation in Jam Loey Rak or Love Slave.
In this episode, we will be talking about class, race, sexuality, disability, and mental health. But before we move on, we will also be discussing the entirety of many characters. So, spoilers ahead.
Also, we will be discussing physical and emotional abuse, kidnapping, sexual assault, self-harm, attempted suicide, actual suicide, stalking, forced servitude, and blackface in this episode. The list just goes on. What the fuck?
So, if you're sensitive to any of these issues, which is definitely understandable, please prioritize your mental health and overall well-being.
So, you can always come back to us when you're emotionally ready.
Also, please be aware that we will be using the word rape in this episode because 1, it occurs in this drama, and 2, we think the act itself should be completely condemned, not the word.
And if you haven't noticed from me saying what the fuck, our podcast is still under the explicit category. So, we won't be pulling punches for hot fucking rip. We'd like to start off this second part by discussing the different socio-economic classes in the series. First, we have this quote-unquote self-made rich guy, Harit, who is also the male lead, if you forgot.
Yeah.
Harit is portrayed as someone who built himself and all that he has from scratch.
Scratch.
And while that might be the case in previous remakes, in the 2008 remake, Harit is merely privileged.
Yeah.
Harit inherited money and businesses from his deceased rich parents. So basically, Harit is a spoiled brat who is supposedly better than other spoiled brats because, wait for it, he cares about the environment.
Oh, wow. Wow, that changes everything. That makes me almost forget about the fact that he fucking raped someone. Almost forgot about that.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
It was a very bad attempt, but
Yes.
Please go on.
Yes, I'm trying to transition. Okay. So, the middle class of Love Slave is basically everyone in Bangkok and Viset, Harit's business rival. Middle class Bangkokians are never seen worried about money or anything like that. Instead, they have the luxury of only worrying about first world problems like romance and reputation. The middle class family we get to see the most is Sansani's family.
However, Soraya's family falls into a different category, Ban Nok. Ban Nok is a term used to describe people who are not necessarily poor, but live in the countryside. The term Ban Nok itself has connotations of being poor and primitive, but also kind-hearted and loyal. Sansani hates Nukun specifically because he is Ban Nok. However, both Soraya's and Nuku's families are wealthy enough to own orchards.
Actually,
Orchards!
okay, I think they know what you mean. They know what you mean.
Okay. Sorry. I always pronounced it as like orchids, and it's not supposed to be pronounced that way, but please go on. I'm sorry.
I think people pronounce it in different ways, though. I've heard different things, so I don't know. What's right?
Me
Audience, listeners, let us know.
Let us know,
How to
please.
pronounce this word.
I learned this language. I heard it both ways. I can't decide.
Wait. So this is also Soreya's mother too. She's also this
Yes.
Banok, or I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it, but
Yes, Banok.
Banok. So does Sansani also hate Soreya for that then too, even though she's like a cousin?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's why she treats Soreya like a maid, and that's probably why Sansani's mother, Saisamon, I think is her name, hates her own sister.
Oh, because what? Huh? What? What?
Because she decides to live in the countryside.
To live in the okay, all right.
And
anyway.
also she dated his husband before and all of that drama.
Before, yeah, that drama. Finally, the poor of Love Slave are exclusive to people working at Harit's farm and the locals of the Phuket Island. They are portrayed the same way as the Banok. Okay. Except they are really poor. Like, they're actually poor. Often. I mean,
I don't know why, but
right.
that was so funny to me.
I mean, they are, right? I mean, that's what they are. They're poor, right?
They are, yes, often, yeah.
Okay. So often all they have is a good job at Harit's farm or a small piece of land that was passed down from generation to generation in their family. So that's probably partly why most of them are fiercely loyal to Harit.
Yeah, like, because he is, quote unquote, their savior.
Yeah, pretty much they have no other choice. Seems like to me.
But yeah, that definitely explains it. Next, we'd like to talk a bit about race. All the characters in the series are Thai. There were no white, black, or other Asian people in the series. However, Soreya's actress, Taksaon Paksukcharan, is a quarter white American, which was probably / definitely a factor in casting.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I mean, being half or even part white is often a plus in the entertainment industry in Asia, especially in modeling. Many white, quote-unquote, white features are coveted in Asia, like pale skin, big eyes, and high nose bridges. Apparently that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh god, I can't wait to see your reaction to Nadine and Yaya, but that's beside the point for now.
Are they more Thai dramas?
Nadine and Yaya are actually a celebrity couple. They often star in leading roles, often together because, you know, they're an actual couple in real life. And I have something with them lined up, so no worries.
Wait a minute. Okay, so first of all, does that count as acting then? If, like, they're actually a couple in the drama together and they're a real couple in real life?
I mean, one of the first series they starred together, Nade had to rape Yaya, so...
Oh God, okay. Well, I hope that was acting.
I hope so too.
I really hope that was acting. And, you know, on a, I guess, you know, lighter note, you know, they must... Oh my God, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, anything that is lighter than rape.
Yes, I'm trying to transition from this rape. On a lighter note, they must be getting banked though, because I mean, they're both a celebrity couple. They're often starring together in, you know, all these shows. They must both be pretty loaded. So
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they can like travel here and there and everything. That reminds me, and this is a funny story. But one of the Thai actresses, I can't remember who, but my friend told me about them. That person flew to the States, got vaccinated, and flew back to Thailand because that's how slow That's how slow vaccinations are
Oh God!
right now.
Oh God!
I mean,
thought,
it's
and I thought Japan was slow. God! Oh God!
yeah. The political climate in Thailand is not very good, to say the least, and I'm sure many of our Thai listeners can attest to that.
Okay. But back to Love Slave. Um, although there are no black characters in the 2008 remake of Love Slave. When I was researching for this episode, I unfortunately came across some characters in blackface for the 2014 movie remake.
Oh, that Love Slave. Okay.
For those of you who don't know, blackface is when a non-black person puts dark makeup on themselves to look, quote unquote, like a black person. They often also draw exaggerated red lips on themselves, widen their eyes, and make their hair look afro, quote unquote, afro textured. It's almost always done as a way of mocking natural black features and dehumanizing black people.
It's the weirdest and the worst thing.
Yeah, it's quite strange actually.
How on earth did you find this? I didn't even know about it.
I literally typed into the Google search Love Slave Thai Drama 2008, okay? 2008. That's what I typed in.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, the trailer for the 2014 movie came up as one of the first results. Like that came up before the 2008 version. I don't I don't know why.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And so, of course, I was curious, so I clicked, I was curious.
Oh my God. Fair enough, but please go on.
And I regretted that immediately. It was quite an atrocious trailer, even without the blackface. It was supposed to be a comedy, I think, so all the physical abuse that the Soraya character goes through is played for laughs, pretty much. It's all funny. And, that's already disturbing enough, but what really disturbed me was when the two servant characters, one man, one woman, who work on the Hadith's character's island, when I saw them, that's what really disturbed me. So they had the same role as Bai in the 2008 version, only in this version, they were both depicted with obvious black, quote unquote, black features. I almost thought they might actually be black when I first saw them, at a glance.
Yeah, so I did a bit of research into it too. It was apparently supposed to be a parody. Needless to say, it was a very, very bad one. But yeah,
very bad.
Mm-hmm. The movie's title is actually Tat Rak Asun, or The Monster's Love Slave. It's like an actual movie, like a 2-hour movie mocking,
like a feature length. Movie.
It's supposed to be like mocking the Love Slave series and common tropes in Thai dramas, like laughing in like really high pitched voices, like when the evil girl does that. Like, I think they
sounds like anime.
Yeah, I mean, in the and this is just hearing from like my friend, but she said like the main bad girl, quote unquote bad girl of the series, was really exaggerating that exaggerated laugh, so it was more like so that was really.
But was that in Love Slave? Like in the drama,
in the
like,
movie,
did someone laugh like that? But like, are they just like copying a trope that happens in Thai dramas in general, not necessarily.
They're making fun of that trope of laughing in a high pitched noise. So
okay.
Yeah, it was a very weird high pitched laugh. But anyway, colorism in Thai dramas has been criticized, and maybe the movie was exaggerating the colorism, like it exaggerated the laugh. Even so, there was no excuse to do blackface. There is no excuse to do blackface ever. And like the black ever, yes. And like the blackface itself was pretty disturbing. The woman had an afro, and the man had what looked to be locks, but he was named Fu or Afro.
They couldn't even get that right.
Nope. Oh god. And the names are.
How did they mess it up? How did they mess it up?
No
so
idea.
like, the woman has the afro, but they give the man the afro name. So does afro just mean black to them or something? Like what is like what's going on here?
So Fu technically means to float.
I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
I don't know. I didn't want to mention it, but but that's the truth. Fu means float, or like God. I won't explain further.
Okay. Wait, what was the woman's name though?
The woman's name was Nuak, or deaf. It means deaf, which was probably making fun of the fact that Bai's name translates to mute.
I mean, I'm wondering, like, did his mom name him that, or like, did he get that name later? Like, is that his real name? Because either way, it's really sad.
I don't think it's a real name. It doesn't sound real. It sounds like how it was being a dick.
Oh God. Well, put another strike against him. I mean, not that he needs any more, but yeah. Are we surprised though? Are we surprised?
I'm not surprised that Hadid's a dick, but I'm surprised that like this 2014 version has this. And
yeah. Oh yeah. Like definitely. I mean, and also, yeah. I mean, I was just gonna say, like, also this makes me want a Bai, like, I don't know, I guess sequel or spin-off drama.
Yeah, last time we were talking about a Bai story.
Yes.
A Bai backstory. A Bai backstory.
A Bai backstory. And then we can get his real name.
Yeah.
Not be.
Yeah, maybe his real name is something cool. Like, I don't know.
What's a cool Thai name?
Not sure. First name or nickname?
I guess first name. I mean, I guess just.
I mean, the name of the actor that portrayed Hadid, Atichat, is pretty cool, I think.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can give him that name.
But yeah. When I saw like the two characters back to Nuak and Fu. Oh God, Fu is such a bad name. Anyway, yeah. When I first saw them, I was like, "Are those black people? Did they actually get black people to be in a Thai movie?" But then they spoke with a Southern Thai accent or dialect. I'm not sure. I speak Central Thai, but not Southern Thai, so I can't like confirm this. But they spoke with what sounds to me like native Thai. So I looked up their actors, and both of them were full Thai.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they would be half black actors, because, I mean, you could, even if they were speaking native Thai, there are black Thai people, they definitely exist. There's definitely some in Thailand, and probably in other places in the world as well. Like, it's not like it can't happen. It's not impossible, right? But, either way, it still wouldn't have justified the horrible depiction of black people in this movie. But at least it wouldn't have been blackface, I mean, it would have just been stereotyping, which is horrible too, but at least it would have just been racism. Yeah. But it would have been blackface,
Oh God, this whole, like, I suppose experience of discovering this 2014 version of Love Slave was it was already traumatic for me. I can't imagine how traumatic it is for you.
Yeah, it was pretty I mean, I guess I wasn't like shocked that like a Thai movie had blackface, but I guess I just didn't expect it because I watched the TV show. There were no black people at all, so I was like, okay, let me just watch this. It'll just be interesting to look at. And it's like, oh wait, there's blackface. Okay, never mind. Yeah. So blackface is actually a rampant problem in a lot of Asian countries, not just Thailand. And it's really sad to see here in this 2014. I'm saying it again, just to let you guys listen and hear, 2014 version of Love Slave. I thought representation was supposed to get better with time, not worse. uh, but it's like such a constant thing that I've seen and heard about, about happening in Asian media. Like, so much that it's almost like a trope.
Oh my god.
In and of itself. Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like it is. I feel like, hey, Trope Tuesday, blackface. I mean, it sounds awful, but it kind of is.
Remember when, like, remember in part one when I told you about the bitchy male lead in from Divine Deviation, and you were like, oh, I don't know what to say to that. I feel like I'm experiencing that moment. I'm just like.
I mean, I'm probably gonna get people being like, "No, you can't say that. It's not a trope." But hey, what is a trope? Come on, explain. Give me, like, come on. It's something that happens a lot, right? Something that happens, very often. Like something that you kind of just expect to happen in these shows, and it does. It does. Like, I mean, it's sad, but I kind of just expect at least one or even more of these shows is going to have some blackface in it. Like, I'm not, like, surprised by it. It's not shocking to me. It's something that I know will happen over and over again. And so, yeah, it's pretty much like a trope at this point. Like, I don't...
That is so sad.
Yeah, it really is. But, it really baffles me, though, because, I don't know why it's so prominent in Asia. I mean, although obviously it's wrong, like, anywhere, I can understand why countries like the US have a culture of doing blackface. There are way more black people there, and also there's a long history of white people subjugating and degrading black people, like slavery. However, most Asian countries have very small black populations, and many of the people living in those countries never really interact with black people on a daily basis. Like, it just doesn't happen because there's just so few black people living
I think
there.
the first time I ever, like, met a black person was when I was, like, 12 or so.
Well, that's still pretty early, though, I feel like, for Asia. I think that's pretty early, actually. Like, on average, I think.
I mean,
like,
I had to go all the way to Thailand to see that person at a resort, at, like, a hotel, but, like, yeah.
Oh, whoa, that sounds weird, but okay. All right. I didn't expect all this.
I'm sorry.
But, no, it's fine. It's just, I have some questions, but okay. Okay, I'm gonna finish this first, though. You can tell me about your hotel resort experience.
I mean, it's not like I went there to watch black people. It's just I happened to be...
Oh my God.
I happened to
black people watching.
I happened to be at that hotel, and that person happened to be at that hotel, and that person happened to be black, and I was like, "Oh, okay. A black person." I only I've never seen a foreigner with that skin complexion before, and that's it. That's all that, like, crossed my 12-year-old mind.
So anyway, back to the, what I was talking about, the whole blackface thing.
Oh God! Yes, we were talking about that.
Yeah. And so, the thing is, like you mentioned yourself, there's usually very few black people in these countries, in a lot of countries in Asia, in most countries in Asia, there's usually not too many black people, and they don't, most people in those countries don't have interactions with black people on a daily basis, but they still seem to have this desire, or I would say even need, to portray black people as beneath them and mock their natural features like hair texture, lips, nose, skin color, etc. Which I find very strange, because it's like you don't see any black people, but you have this weird obsession of, like, putting on blackface and doing it for a show, or like a variety show, or like a drama or a movie. Like,
God,
I don't get it.
It's probably to, like, and I don't know how Americans will feel about this, but it's probably to, like, copy, like, white Americans.
Oh yeah, no, I believe it. I mean, I definitely know, like, I remember I read some articles about, like, the history of, like, blackface in Japan, and it was saying how, like, the first, documented occurrence of blackface in Japan was like Commodore Perry bringing over like bringing over slaves, and then also they did like minstrel shows, for the Japanese, like with people with blackface on and stuff like that. And so I think that's where they got the concept of it from. So yeah, I think for Japan, I'm pretty sure like the white people brought it over, and I'm sure also like the military probably brought it over to a lot of other Asian countries, and so I'm sure they got it from the U.S. and countries like that. Probably
okay, to give the U.S. some slack, maybe Lao PDR got it from the French. They colonized
there
us.
There you go. You off the hook for that one. You don't get no blame for this country. I mean, I'm sure all the white people were showing it around. So, I mean, yeah, I believe it. I'm sure the French were also doing blackface too. I just assume everyone's doing blackface at some point. I'm sorry. I have no hope for humanity. Anyway, I think Europeans, white and Americans, like America, brought over blackface to Asia, but they're still continuing it even without them here. So say what you want. They're still doing it. So balls in your court.
Oh God, how much have we sidetracked?
Oh, I don't know, probably a lot.
Yes.
But the main point is blackface is absolutely unacceptable. But unfortunately, it is still happening even in 2021.
And that is such a sad note to end on.
Yeah.
Oh God. So this is actually slightly connected to racism, but I said all the characters are Thai, but there was some like accent differentiation and colorism going on. So to give you context, Central Thai is quote-unquote standard Thai and is considered the dialect of the sophisticated-ish. Everyone in Bangkok and at Surya's childhood home all speak Central Thai. Workers at Harit's farm are apparently Phuket locals, but only Y, the leader at Harit's pearl farm, speaks in the southern dialect. Not even his son speaks with that dialect. Not even his son. Like, didn't he get adopted?
I probably. Who knows? He's actually a northerner. Like, he's actually from Bangkok. He just like adopted him. It's weird. I mean, they couldn't even get that right. And then there's the pesky colorism. This is present in even Western TV. But let's focus on Love Slave for now. In this drama, Bangkokians are light-skinned. Harit and Harin, who supposedly were born and raised in southern Thailand.
Harin looks like he has never been touched by the sun.
Harin looks like a ghost, okay? Like
he does, yeah.
He is so white. Like, wow. Like, he is see-through, okay? He is so white.
I mean, there was probably, like, issues with, like, lighting and stuff, but still he was very white compared to other like actors, I think.
Yeah he was. I would say he was probably the whitest person in the show, actually. Like, I don't know. I mean, he seemed like it. Like, maybe there was just like this like heavenly glow around him or something. I don't know, but
or maybe it's to show that he passed away.
Oh God, that's awful. Okay. On the other hand, the workers, bi included, and the villain, Visette, still debatable. I still think that's debatable. Are tan or darker skin.
There was also a bit of patriotism. So, like, when Visette tried to convince Tawachai to buy his island, he was like, I have a foreign investor waiting to bid on it, but I'd rather sell it to a fellow Thai. The word he used for foreign was person whose citizenship is different.
So
but
specific.
Like, yeah,
it's so specific.
It's the Thai language. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, this patriotism will change a little bit over the next decade. Maybe more than a little bit, but yeah.
Let me guess. White features are preferred?
You guessed it. It was a very easy guess, but yes, you guessed it.
No,
I shouldn't have Huh. Actually,
Yeah.
even if it were vague and you didn't point it out, I'm sure everyone would get it.
Yeah, they can read between the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't buy that Bissett actually had a foreign investor waiting. Like, I don't think anyone else actually had interest in the land, because, like, he literally went all the way from Phuket, like, to Bangkok just to harass Tawachai into buying this land. Like, he literally left.
Oh yeah,
He went all the
went to
way.
Tawachai's workplace.
Yeah, just to harass him to buy this land.
Like, buy this land or I don't know.
I'll hire some thugs to kidnap you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. Like, it was just
I don't
weird.
even remember what he
I
said,
don't
but I
know.
remember he was there.
But he was like literally threatening him, like, you buy this land or die. Like, it was like, what? But why? Why are you like? Don't you have other people interested? Isn't it about the money? Why are you so patriotic now? Like, I don't know. Like, it seems weird. Like, I feel like no one's patriotic.
If even if he were like really patriotic, it wouldn't make sense for him to hate on Harit, who is also Thai, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like he could also find another Thai person to buy it. Is like Tawachai the only person with money in all of Thailand? I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Bisset's a liar.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. We'd like to talk about sexuality and any LGBTQ plus phobia in the series, and maybe representation if there is any.
I doubt it, but yeah, I appreciate the effort.
I tried. Okay. Although there isn't any acknowledged queerness, there is one queer-coded extra during Tawachai's company event, and another extra during Sansani's photo shoot at Harit's private island.
However, when Sansani was confronted by Chanida, Sansani's comeback was thanking Chanida for telling her that Tawachai is, and I quote, certified to be a heterosexual male. And first of all, this is ignorant based by erasure. Sansani, I love your personality. Not your whole personality. I love many parts of your personality, but this is by erasure. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you never know. Tawachai could be bisexual. We have no idea.
Right?
No
He
idea.
could be bisexual. But yeah, another thing is actually something you have to know Thai to catch. So, the word Sansani used actually transliterates to certified to be a real man, which
very
dismisses. Yes, it's very specific and also weird in my opinion. But it dismisses trans men and non-straight men to not be real men.
Ugh, of course. Seems to be too many words like this.
And God, if there are Thai listeners out there, they will know the phrase chai tang tang. And if I had to translate it to you, it would be the whole we're like under the explicit.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yes.
A real man from oh God, it's very hard.
Oh, what is this? Now I'm really curious.
from the root to the tip.
Oh God. Oh my God. I did not expect this to get so sexually explicit. Like, why? What is it? Oh God! What does that mean? Oh God! Oh God!
Yes. It's a very strange expression in my.
They seem to be very obsessed with genitalia. Like, I feel like there's a little bit too much emphasis on that. Like, maybe tone it down. Like, like maybe back it up a little bit. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's just a lot. Like.
And it's very, very specific, too.
Yeah, very specific. Okay. I don't know what else to say to that. So, next, we would like to discuss the representation of disability and mental health. There is one physically disabled character in Love Slave, Bai. So, Bai's name literally means mute or gesture, as Watanya told us earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Bai is unable to produce oral speech, Bai communicates via gestures and facial expressions mainly, but also uses oral sounds sometimes.
Bai is a whole character in and of himself who the viewers might or might not like. But we notice that we, people who aren't physically disabled, find it hard to express dissatisfaction with a character that happens to be disabled. We also noticed that this pattern of behavior is prevalent with PC or woke privileged people and marginalized people.
Disabled characters are also often put into more subservient roles or evil roles, as
Oh,
if
God.
they're it's one, it's subservient or evil. Which one do you choose? As if their disability is part of what makes them terrifying. Quote in quotes. Terrifying. This sadly isn't limited to Asian media.
With all that being said, there is one thing we would like to commend the show for. So, Bai and Buntai, who is Harit's ex-girlfriend, long story, go listen to part 1.
Yes.
Actually, the two of them have a sexual relationship. I mean, it's a one-sided one, but like, still, a sexual relationship.
You know, something that happens way too often in entertainment media is the portrayal of disabled characters as non-sexual beings. And while there's definitely are, asexual disabled people, plenty of disabled people engage in sexual acts.
And I don't know who needs to hear this. Just so it's clear, please, please, please don't go around asking random people about their sex lives.
Yeah, please don't.
Regardless of
Oh,
whether or not they're asexual or disabled, okay?
Yeah, it's not a good look. I mean, you wouldn't ask someone you thought was heterosexual, like you wouldn't be like, hey, well, what, like, I don't know, maybe you would, but you probably shouldn't do that either. Like, I don't know, just stop doing it.
If you would, if you're the kind of person that goes around asking random people about their sex lives, we would like to tell you that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, and maybe you should review your actions, your behavior.
Yes, unless they specifically are like, hey, let's talk
Yeah,
about
and like,
sex lives,
unless you know that they are like open to talking about sex or their personal sex life, do not ask them about it.
Yeah, or if they start talking to you and be like, hey, like, they start talking about it and like, then I feel like, maybe it's safe, but like, yeah, don't just randomly start asking people. That's very strange.
And feel free to tell the person that just willingly tells you about their sex life to not tell you about their sex life if you don't want to hear it.
Yeah, if you don't want to hear it. Yeah, exactly.
Boundaries,
You can go both
boundaries.
ways. You can go both ways. Yes, please.
And before we discuss the mental health aspect of Love Slave, we'd like to remind you to buckle up, bitches. The opening scene of the series is a suicide scene. This is gonna be a rough ride. There's no other way to put this.
Yeah, again, if you're not emotionally ready, feel free to go take a walk or prepare a beverage. We published our timestamps in the description. You can come back to us anytime.
In the meantime, let us tell you about Doodle Floop.
Doodle Floop brings art with a human touch straight to your door in many different forms.
Faith, art with a human touch? As in
a human made it. Well, Tanya, come on.
Okay.
Everything is handmade. It gives you the warmth of another human being that mass production just can't give you.
Aww, the beauty of imperfection. I mean, sure, the lines might be a little curved or something, but like, that's proof that it was a person that made it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the numbers guy might or might not be a cat, but I'm sure the artist is a person.
You can follow the store on Instagram at Doodlefloop. That's DOODLEFLOOP.
You can also go directly to the store at doodle-floop.myshopify.com. Or, search Google for Doodle Floop. Right now, Doodle can only ship in Japan, but it plans to expand worldwide in the near future. So stay tuned.
Accidental kiss. Are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Since the beginning of the series is what it is, we'd like to start with self-harm and suicidal ideation. Because Sansani, and I quote, told him to go and die, Harin commits suicide at the beginning of the series with Harit's gun. And for the record, what she said was probably closer to like go to hell.
Which is very different, actually, I think. I mean, it's similar, but like, I don't know. I feel like if someone says go to hell, like, I guess it does kind of mean go and die, because I guess hell, I guess you have to be dead to go to hell, but the nuance is different.
Go to hell is more like, leave me alone, right?
Like, if you hear that, if I hear that in English, I think, oh, this person's telling me to fuck off. You know, like, which is totally different than being like, go die. Like, it's very different.
Yeah. Like, literally, it's probably something like, ไปตายไหนก็ไป which means, you can go die wherever you want.
Oh, that's specific.
But it
so
means
specific.
Fuck off and go to hell.
Oh, so specific. Okay, all right. So
it's a very specific language, but please.
So the drama tries to frame this as somehow being Sansani's fault. But I don't think anyone should be afraid to break up with someone because they're afraid that person might commit suicide. I mean, that's pretty manipulative and emotionally abusive. Sansani is a horrible person with many faults who does a lot of awful things throughout the show. However, Harin's suicide is not one of those things.
I totally agree. In Love Slave, taking or being willing to take one's life is seen as a, I suppose, sign of ultimate love and devotion. Like, every character in the show who commits or attempts to commit suicide does it in the name of love. There are two other characters that attempt suicide in the name of love.
One, Chanida, contemplates self-harm at home and suicide from a bridge after Tawachai broke up with her.
2. Buntai jumps off a cliff, like an actual cliff, into the ocean to show her love and devotion to Harit, who doesn't love her anymore.
I'm sorry. Okay, I just have to say, like, okay, so she does that, and he literally is, like, in shock, and then doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, he's like, how dare you commit suicide on my island?
And that's it. And he literally just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
At all. He doesn't even try to look for her.
Yeah. Bai jumps in and tries to search for her. And when he came back, like, broken, because, you know, Bai probably loves
Yeah, he definitely does.
Enough to jump off the cliff to, like, try to save her. And Hade was just there like, I forgive you.
What a fucking asshole. Oh my god. All right.
Yep.
Next, we will be talking about all the trauma in the show. You know, like that trauma that we just talked about.
Yeah, it deserves a whole episode in and of itself, but we already split it in two. We can't do this anymore.
We can't have a part 3. We just won't. So almost,
unless we need to, but please go on.
I'm sorry. Not to. Almost every character has some sort of like traumatic experience and or traumatizes others. Let's start off with the main plot itself. The story, as well as Soraya herself, say that she is in love with Harit, but it's more likely that Soraya simply developed Stockholm Syndrome from being kidnapped and forced to serve Harit.
So, to put it simply, Stockholm Syndrome is when someone who was abused or held captive develops positive feelings for their abuser or captor. And in Love Slave, Harit is both Soraya's abuser and captor. Yeah. And Harit is constantly getting up close and personal with Soraya, and it's possible that Soraya developed Stockholm Syndrome to cope with the whole situation, you know, after many failed attempts to escape and being snitched by a fucking chimpanzee.
Fuck that chimpanzee, man.
But yeah, on a lighter note, Soraya, it's not lighter, but lighter than this. Soraya is hydrophobic because she almost drowned when she was a child, you know, when Sansani abandon her and later try to come back and finish the job.
Oh God. I'm gonna finish the job. The Stockholm Syndrome thing explains why Soraya didn't simply call for help during the many opportunities she had at the hospital in mainland Phuket.
That explains it, yeah.
Like, I really thought Soraya didn't actually want to be rescued because, like, she, like, hid inside a bus to escape when she could have told the bus driver her situation and gotten him to call the police. Also, Soraya was able to actually get on the phone with her mother. Like, she was actually able to call her and talk to her, and she didn't scream for help immediately. Like, she was having a normal conversation with her mom. Like, she was just had all
Yeah, she was like, how are you
all
doing?
the time in the world. Like, it's like, hello, your fucking, like, kidnapper
Oh, God.
is right there in this hospital coming, searching for you. You need to get help. Call help now.
And and talking about her mom, Saang, that's her mom's name. Saang expresses sympathy, but also dismisses her own daughter's kidnapping and rape, and even fucking encourages Soraya to follow her heart, whatever that means, and get together with her fucking rapist.
That is so messed up, man. Like, seriously. Song
And it
sucks,
happens
man.
so often.
She sucks.
She is supposed to be like the angel.
Oh God, no. Is she though? Really? She's dooming her daughter to stay with the devil forever? Okay.
It's debatable. Yeah, actually, it's not debatable. She's outright evil.
I think she's a horrible mother. I'm sorry, but I think she's pretty bad.
But yeah, this sort of thing happens so often in Thai dramas that I bet even Thai people are fed up with it.
Yeah, as it should be.
Like, remember that time that Trope Tuesday was about the slap kiss?
Yeah.
I remember that you were like, hey, this person liked our post, and I looked at their profile. They were Thai, and I was like, yeah, they're Thai. They probably they relate to that post on such a spiritual level.
I see. All right, then. Next, we're going to talk about attachment issues. So, starting with romantic relationships.
So, let's see if I can read every name on this list.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
But let's go. I'll be fine. I'll help you if
Please
you need
help
it.
me.
But yeah, Harin, Chanida, and Buntai have engaged in self-harm or suicide because someone doesn't love them anymore on, like, differing degrees, but they all did that. Yeah.
When Sansani dumps him, Tawachai drunk drives and gets into a traffic accident that results in his hospitalization.
Harit, oh god, this guy. Harit stalks Soraya and constantly harasses her to get her to love him back, which is...
What a great guy.
Okay. And I'm very sad to say this, but she does love him back eventually because they're the main couple. It's a drama. Yada,
she just
yada,
has
yada.
to. The script says so she's got to love his stalking. I love it when he stalks me. Okay, and
I want to add something.
Okay, sure, yeah.
I feel like she's more like, don't stalk me, and when he doesn't stalk her, it's like, where is he?
Oh God! Yeah, probably.
Yeah, her longing looks into the distance.
It's like, oh no, he's gone.
But yeah, please.
He's gone. I didn't think he would actually leave. I told him to leave, but I didn't think he would actually do it.
Oh God, she's very unrealistic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, Sai Samon who is Sansani's mother, is very insecure about herself and is always bringing up the fact that her husband dated her sister song before.
Oh god, she brings that up
Yes,
literally
no,
every
like
single
literally
time.
any argument they have, she's like, "Well, you used to date my sister," and it's like, "Yeah, but I'm married to you." Okay, so like can we move on? This has been many years.
and her
This has
husband,
been like what,
I
like at least 18 plus years? No, 20, like probably 20. Yeah, because they graduated college, so it's like 20 plus years by now, right? Like,
yeah, Sansani graduated college, so yeah. Moving on, we would like to discuss the what they call loyalty, but we call obsession. So first of all, Harit, why do I get him again? Is obsessed with avenging his brother. Even after acknowledging that Harin's suicide was ultimately his own decision. It was a very heartbreaking decision, but it was his own. Even after like acknowledging that, he is still like obsessed with destroying Sansani's life.
it's quite sad. And Soraya is obsessed with serving and giving up everything to Sansani because she believes Sansani saved her that one time, like literally one time, and she owes it for the rest of her life.
And then she came back to finish the job. Oh god.
She came back to get her. And we find out, of course, as we told you the last episode, that she didn't actually save her. So she served her for pretty much no reason.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, it's very strange to me, but before the last scene, you know, when they were like in front of Harin's like grave, Harit and Soraya were like, oh, we were flawed human beings because we were operating on like strange like loyalty systems. And is that one scene supposed to make everything fine?
What is she talking
sure.
about? No, that was completely different. Like, okay, so first of all, both of them, their loyalty was just over the top. It was too much. Like, both of them did way too much, did way more than they needed to do. Like, Soraya suffered for a woman who didn't even actually save her. Of course, she didn't know this, but still, even if she had, no saving is worth being enslaved for the rest of your life. I'm sorry, it's not worth it. It's just not. It's not. I'm sorry. Get over it. Like, move on. You know, and then also Harit, like, he was obsessive to the point that he, you know, destroyed other people's lives because, you know, he was so upset about his brother. And it's like, you know, no, that's not the same thing. Like, you know, she was destroying her own life. You were destroying her life. Like, that's not the same thing. Same thing. But okay, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, but before we start like talking more shit about Harit, and it will never end.
Yeah.
Just gonna put this out there. Moving on. The workers at Harit's farm are also fiercely loyal to Harit and would probably not believe that he's a kidnapper and a rapist. And Bai, as we mentioned before, is extremely loyal to Harit. He endures Harit's abuse. He follows Harit's orders no matter what. Like, he basically helped Harit, like, enslave Soraya.
I mean, there were a few scenes where he felt a bit sympathetic towards her. Maybe he, like, you know, was a little more lenient or tried to help her out a little bit. But he still, you know, helped keep her there, though. He still didn't let her go. You know, he still wasn't, you know, he still was fiercely loyal to Harit, and yeah, pretty much not a ally. He was not an ally. Okay, just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even after apparently losing her mind, Buntai still attacks Sansani, thinking she was Soraya, with the hopes of getting back together with Harit if she eliminates all her romantic rivals. Wow.
You know, the quote unquote bad girl going quote unquote crazy and screaming is a common trope in Thai dramas. Like, you saw that with Sansani in the last scene where she screams into the pond. And
I see.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, so, okay, so besides having sex, you know, outside of being, like, married, and, well, I mean, don't get me wrong, Buntai did a lot of horrible things, but did she really do anything more horrible than most of the characters of the show, though?
Huh.
Like, why is she so bad? Why is she so bad compared to the other ones? I mean, yeah, she cheated on Harit, but I mean, come on, he's done way worse. Yeah, she cheated on him, which is not good. It's not good. I'm not condoning cheating, but at the same time, compared to what he's done, she's done nothing. Like, I mean, like, okay, she did try to kill Soraya once, but he also was like, you know, putting her in the water, like letting the tides come and like get her and stuff. You know, he was doing a lot of horrible stuff too. Like, he was literally like, you know, leaving her out there, you know, like as far as she knew to die. You know, like, I mean, you know, so he, you know, she hasn't done anything that much worse than what Hadid's done. Not really.
Yeah, like, let's see, what did Buntai do? Buntai physically hurt Soraya, which
really
Hadid did. Buntai tricked and deceived Soraya, which Hadid also did. Buntai tries to push Soraya into the ocean, and I think Hadid did the equivalent of that.
Yeah, he like tied her to like what the what is it? The pier thing, like the
pier
like
or something.
like what a column on the pier, yeah, and then like let the tide, like, oh, the tides are gonna come, and so they're gonna like wash over you, and he pretty much left her there for hours, you know, to scare her, I guess. But like, as far as she knew, she was gonna die. Like, she didn't know. Like, she had no idea if he was gonna ever come back and get her. And so I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess he didn't actually intend for her to die because he wanted to torture her more. But like, is that? But is that better? Like, is that make him a better person? Like, why is she so bad? Like, and he's not. Like, I'm so confused by this. I'm sorry. Like, I don't understand why she's the worst person.
She had sex.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Okay. Like, I mean, what else can I say? What else can I say to that? Like, I don't know what else to say.
I mean, Hadid also had sex with her.
But he's a guy, okay? He's a guy, so it's fine. Okay. Anyway, so Bisette, who I'm still not convinced is the villain of this story, is obsessed.
You're gonna bring that up every single time.
I think they just literally put him in there because they wanted Hadid to look better somehow.
Yeah, I agree.
Somehow, because it was impossible otherwise, and even then, it still was bad. It was still impossible.
Bisette wasn't even
bad. No, Okay, we're gonna have to one day just like make a chart. Let's make a chart for like social media where we put like things Hadid did versus other bad, quote unquote, bad characters in the story and see who's worse. And I bet you Hadid will be the worst each time. I bet you.
I believe you. I'm even willing to bet that would be the case. Yeah.
So Bisette, you know, maybe anti-hero, is obsessed with destroying Hadid no matter what. So actually, he's obsessed with destroying the worst guy in the show. Is he really that bad? He might be the hero. The hero that we don't deserve, you know? This is the hero we need that we didn't know.
Oh, but he also killed people. That's bad.
But so did you know.
Oh, Hadid didn't actually kill people. That's not bad.
But he was about to. He was about to shoot the guy who Buntai was sleeping with.
But yeah, I know. Jokes aren't for me.
It's fine.
But yeah. Moving on to a subject that is just a wee bit darker. Why did I say we? I'm not even European. Yeah, we're gonna move on to abuse. And there are 3 types of abuse in this show. There's physical, there's emotional, and there's professional. And we are going to start with physical.
So, Y hits his son for stealing from Hadid, stealing the pearls from Hadid's pearl farm. So he beats him repeatedly with a stick and orders him to shout, "I'm very sorry, I will never do it again," which, you know, is pretty abusive. This is unfortunately a very common way to punish one's child or student in many parts of the world. You know, I definitely, you know, received a bit of a, you know, maybe not like the same kind of stick, but like something similar as well. For punishment when I was a child as well.
Yeah, I was punished this way when I was a child. Although I didn't have to shout, like at school, if I needed like 60 points to pass an exam and I got 55, I would be hit 5 times.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds abusive. Yeah, mine was not quite like that. It was more like my parents or my grandmother, you know, one of my grandmothers would like usually use like a small kind of branch that we called a switch. Or a belt to beat me when I was bad, did something that wasn't good, I guess.
Yeah,
never for grades.
I was often
never for grades.
Well, God bless you. I was often hit with a stick, and the worst kind of stick was what we call a Y stick.
Ooh.
Oh my god, is that why Y's name is Y?
Oh my god. Was it intentional? Dun,
I mean,
dun,
it's the name of a kind of wood.
Oh god.
So I'm hoping it's a huge coincidence.
Oh my god, that's his whole purpose. It's the beat. The beat is fun.
Anyway. This action is portrayed as an act of love to Y's child and loyalty to Hadid, of course.
Everything's about Hadid. Ugh, yeah, so Hadid does all of the following things to Soraya. Kidnap, chain up, force kiss, force to work, physically drag and push, rape, force hug, threaten to kidnap her again if she didn't. Let me say it again. Threatened to kidnap her again if she didn't let him go to the supermarket with her.
Oh god, I knew this was coming when you said threatened to kidnap her again. I was like, oh my god.
Supermarket scene. Oh my god. That was
Fun
so
fact,
awful.
it was in that order.
Oh my god.
I mean, the physically drag and push was probably everywhere.
Yeah,
but...
yeah, it was back and forth. That was all over the place. But yeah, no, I remember the supermarket scene I remember that very well because I remember she was just like, "No, I don't want to go to the supermarket with you, my, rapist."
Oh,
and
God.
he was like, "Well, if you don't, I'm going to kidnap you again." It's like, oh, okay, how romantic.
And the music was so inappropriate.
How romantic. I'm with my rapist in the supermarket now. Oh, look.
Oh, God.
Look, Soraya. There's eggs. You don't have to go fetch them anymore. There's eggs right here.
And I love eating eggs, so you know what you gotta do.
Is buy
And
me
he just puts it in the fucking supermarket tray.
Oh my god. Ugh.
Hadid also, he's just an abusive person. He also hits Bai's back with a thin stick and even left scars when Soraya escaped. And then blames it on Soraya,
It's like, yes, I beat
this
him.
is because you escaped.
Because of you. It's your fault. It's your fault I beat him. It's like, do you really want to marry this guy? You see what he does to the people he apparently likes? He apparently likes Bai, right? Bai is his, this loyal servant who he cares for, right? But he's beating him like this. What do you think he's gonna do to you? Good luck in that marriage. Ugh. Good luck. Oh my god, good luck. So yeah, the people in this drama are willing to kill, literally kill, for love. Even
Except Visette. Visette will kill for money.
Yes. But money is his love, though. So maybe it also is love. Even the seemingly innocent and non-violent Tawachai punches Hadid in the face when Hadid insults Sansani. I mean, don't get me wrong. I always root for these people who punch, Hadid in the face. Nikul also punches Hadid for what he did to Soraya. I mean, I guess punching people is bad, but is one punch enough to make up for all Hadid did to Soraya? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No. Yeah, I don't think going to hell would. Yeah. No.
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 I
I
mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's I'm not someone to say that no one can ever, I'm not trying to say people can't change and can't become better, but he shows no real remorse for any of his actions. So yeah, no, fuck him.
Yeah, it's probably impossible to make up for all Hadid did.
Oh, yeah.
But if he wanted to redeem himself, the first step would be to go to therapy.
Oh yes. And then, and also in tandem with that step would be to leave Soraya the hell alone. Just leave. Just don't follow her. Don't look at her. Don't follow her. Don't track up on her. Don't stalk her. Just
don't threaten to kidnap her if she didn't let you go to the supermarket together.
Apologize to her, and it's up to her whether she wants to accept it or not. I wouldn't if I was her. But you can do that. But then stay the hell away from her. That's the only way he could have redeemed himself in my eyes. And then go to therapy because he really needs it. Very, very badly.
Even after, everything that he did to Soraya, instead of doing what we just said, Soraya does almost everything, keyword being almost everything Hadid did to her, and so everything is supposedly fine again.
I mean, like, doing abuse again, does that make it okay? Like, it's like I abused you, so now we're even though she didn't really abuse him. It wasn't really the same. It wasn't even close to being the same.
Yeah, two wrongs don't
but
make
it wasn't
a right
even
anyway.
the same, though. It wasn't even on the same level at all.
Yeah.
It was literally taken as a joke. Like, Hadid was smiling the entire time. Like, it was just so cheesy and uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Yeah. Oh, anyway, I need to get that scene out of my head. I hate thinking about it. It's so cringy.
Let's move on to a lighter note.
And so, a lighter note. Okay. So Sansani.
Anything is lighter than this.
Yeah. Okay. Good point.
We can't complain.
Sansani hits Soraya and Toi when she isn't satisfied with the things they do when they're serving her. So if they don't get the clothes fast enough, or like, you know, they don't come at her beck and call fast enough, she just, you know, especially Toi, like she would just slap her around all the time. Like it was really uncomfortable, actually.
Yeah, with Soraya, I feel like Sansani was like holding back a bit because like, she's my cousin.
Yeah, some nepotism.
But yeah, she was definitely like physically abusing Faye. And professionally too, but we'll get into that later. Before we get into the professional abuse in the series, we have to go through, and this is going to be very dark, but emotional abuse. So as we mentioned earlier, Hadid stalks Soraya and forces her to make eggs for him for dinner. Yeah. And both Hadid and Hadin share an abusive nature. So they both blame their problems on others and go to extremes for what they believe. Hadin claims to love Sansani, but instead of being okay with her, being happier without him, he unfortunately decides to take his own life. He decides that like taking his own life is the best course of action. Hadid equally puts all the blame of his brother's suicide on Sansani. He doesn't think about the possibility of any other factors or considers the common fact that people break up all the time. Yeah, I mean, he broke up with
Exactly. You know, like, it's okay for him to do it, though. That's okay for him. And that's different, though, Watanya. She was cheating, so that's why he had to break up with her. But Hadin wasn't cheating, so there was no reason for Soraya to break up with him, I guess.
Sansani.
Sorry, with Sansani.
It's
Sansani
okay.
break up with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out the logic. And so
there's no logic.
It's true. So instead of considering these like, pretty common, facts, he instead goes to the extreme of kidnapping who he thinks is Sansani and physically and emotionally abusing her until he finds out that she's not Sansani. Finally.
And like even in Bangkok, like the situation is not better because Suparat, who is Sansani's father, is neglective of and slut shames his daughter. And I think we mentioned this in part 1, but he's like the side-eye queen.
Yeah, always side-eyeing her, like seriously. And Nikul acts like he's, Nikul is Soraya's childhood friend, by the way. He acts protective as if he is the boyfriend, i.e. owner of Soraya.
Oh, even Nikul.
He's the nice guy, quote unquote. Nice guy.
Yeah.
And Sansani purposefully reminds Soraya of that one time she saved her life so that Soraya would give up everything for her. She brings it up all the time. Never lets her live it down.
Yeah, it was basically in every scene when Soraya remembers Sansani.
Yeah.
It's pretty, yeah. Finally, we can get into the professional abuse in the series. So Sansani and Saisamon, Sansani and her mother, overworks both Soraya and Tei as their personal servants. And, also physical abuse.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. A lot of that, especially to
A lot of
Toy.
that.
Yeah, like so much physical abuse.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of sad. I didn't like watching those scenes at all.
Yeah, me neither.
So Tawachai dates his own employees and showers them with promotions during their honeymoon phases. You know, nothing wrong there.
Yeah. No. Definitely something wrong there.
Of course.
But yeah, also, like, there's this, I suppose, pattern of showing that, like, only the women are quote-unquote crazy.
Yeah. Even though Hadi kidnaps a woman that he thinks is the person who he thinks is responsible for his brother's death, his brother's suicide, and then, like, forces her into enslaves her and makes her work, but, you know, hey, he's fine. That's totally reasonable. But we see this with Buntai, who literally goes insane with jealousy and attacks Sansani. She had been suffering from this, issue for quite a while, but this seemed to be the final straw that caused Hari to call the authorities and take Buntai away to an insane asylum. We never hear from her again after that. Her unhealthy obsession with Hadith is framed as too much, but Hadith's unhealthy obsession with Soraya is framed as true love. Interesting.
Unhealthy is a very tactful way of putting that.
Yeah.
Yes. Same as Harin's obsession with Sansani versus Chanida's obsession with Tawachai. Like, Harin committed suicide because of Sansani and is like, oh, Harin loved her so much. And Chanida wanted to, I wouldn't say wanted to, but Chanida, like, had suicidal ideation and, like, self-harm ideation, and they were like, oh, this woman is crazy.
Yeah,
stuff
crazy.
Like that.
Yeah, I wonder what these two situations have in common, what these two scenarios. What is a common factor here? Like, I also wonder if Buntai's promiscuity played into her going quote-unquote crazy. It seems like women who enjoy having sex are often portrayed as abnormal or unwell in media, even today,
Chanida is also a sexual person.
That explains it. And also, same with Sansani. She's definitely portrayed as being a more sexual person.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if she...
Yeah.
I mean...
It was never
shown
explicitly
that she had sex,
yeah. But, I mean, she's a very confident person who knows what she wants. I'm sure she has had experience.
Yeah, she seemed like she was experienced.
Before.
I mean, I don't know, but she seemed like she was experienced. Like, she seemed like one of those people, like one of those women who are like, oh, like they act like, to the guy that they're kind of innocent, but like, they've definitely had sex. Like,
Yeah, she was definitely portrayed that way.
That was the way she was portrayed. I don't know. There's no proof that she actually had sex, but she was definitely portrayed as a lot more sexual, than, for example, Soraya. Finally, the use of the word crazy itself has come under fire in recent years for the damage it has caused to the disabled community. It is a very ableist term that promotes the continued stigmatization of disabled people. It is also often used in ways that don't actually mean a clinically insane person. It is such a common term that we even say it ourselves without thinking about it.
Yeah, even right now, I can hear myself almost saying it.
Yeah, and we've said it already in this episode as well. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, like you said, it's such a common term that, like, we don't even really think about it.
Yeah, I've been personally trying to try my best to not use it, but I fail a lot because it's so ingrained in the English language, and it's so ingrained in my head. But I'm not gonna stop trying to do better. I'm still gonna try to not use it as much as I can, try to use alternatives to it. I think I owe it to the disabled community to listen to their experiences and not say words that would further contribute to their oppression.
Yeah, I also try my best not to use it, but, like, I also fail a lot in all of the languages that I speak. You also speak more than one language.
Yes, it's hard. It's hard. It's really hard because it's something, especially it's become more and more, I guess, we've become more and more aware of it in more recent years, and so it's kind of hard. It's a kind of hard habit to shake, because it's still not, seen as like as bad as it is, but hopefully that will change even more.
Yeah. The other day I heard someone in person say the R word, and I was
God.
like,
oh yeah.
Oh, are we still in that stage?
There's some people who are still in that stage. I do have some friends, actually, well, a few people I know who will occasionally still say it, and I know they don't mean anything bad by it, but like it just really like just kind of rubs me the wrong way, because I'm just like I cringe,
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
yeah, it's a word that I used to use too back when I was like, I think in like middle school or something like that, because it was just so common then. But now I've pretty much completely taken it from my vocabulary, because I really have no use for it. Like I just don't. It's not something I used a lot before anyway. It was not a word that I used a lot. Whereas like something like crazy I used quite a lot. Whereas like the R word I never really used that much anyway, so it was easy for me to get rid of it, but yeah, crazy is a little bit more difficult.
The R word, I learned it so my major is psychology, and I learned like, so the intellectual disability. Yes. It used to be called this is just a term. It used to be called mental retardation.
Yes.
And because it was only recently reclassified, so I had to learn like both versions. Because like some of the research papers that I will have to read might have like the old term, and so I looked into like why this reclassification happened, and after like understanding how it is used to like as you say, further contribute to like oppress like disabled people, I decided not to use it.
I think that was the main thing for me. I think I stopped using I really stopped using it when I was in college, because I met someone who her brother has like is, I guess, intellectually like I'm sorry, what was the term you used? I'm sorry, I don't remember, but
I mean the term for the disability would be intellectual disability.
Okay.
But you can also say intellectually challenged.
Okay, so he has an intellectual disability, and so she like hearing that word, she got very upset, because she has a brother who has to probably hear that word all the time, and like has to deal with that, like all the baggage that comes with it, and all the like probably like bullying and like teasing and things like that. And so after hearing her explain that, I just started thinking like, oh, like why do I use this word? That sounds awful. And so I just after that I started to like use it less and less, and then I learned more about it, and I don't know. It wasn't a word that I used a lot before anyway, so it was a lot easier for me to cut it out, whereas crazy has been a lot harder. I've tried, and for the most part, I don't use it, not even as close to as much as I used to, but it still comes out. It just comes out sometimes. Sometimes it just slips out, because it's just it was something I used so much, and I hear it so much.
I totally get that. Yeah, it's a bit of a dark note to end on, but I think it's a good time to wrap up.
In this last section of the show, we like to give our overall rating for the drama as a whole based on its content, watchability, and representation. We rate the shows on a scale of 1 to 5 kisses. You also get to choose which character or characters you want to give your kisses to. This rating system is inspired by the nipple scale used on my favorite podcast, The Bechdel-cast.
I'm curious, Faith, and I'm curious and also a bit scared, but as someone who watched Love Slave for the first time, how many kisses would you give the show, and why? And are there any characters in the series that you would give your kisses to?
I'm gonna give this show 2 kisses. Yeah. It has
Fair.
It has horrible representation, framed a rape scene as romantic, and doesn't seem to even try to understand how disability and mental health work. There were also some editing choices that were quite strange to me. In the version I watched, there were many times when a scene would abruptly change to the next with no real transition. It was often very distracting to me. I mean, it was entertaining, but a bit distracting. And the only saving graces for this show are that most of the actors were very convincing. And the writers wrote a pretty entertaining story that keeps you hooked. Like from the beginning till the end. Like you wanna find out what happens. Like you wanna keep watching. So those are the only two reasons I didn't give it a 1. Like the watchability is factored in. So I give it a 2. And I'm gonna give both of my kisses to intersexual feminist icons, Snake and Squirrel. The true stars of this show. 1 to each of them.
Of course you are, but that's totally valid. Yeah. And I bet many parts were horrifying
yes.
for you. Yeah, maybe I should have suggested, Divine Deviation, the one with the bitchy male lead.
Oh God, no. I don't think that would have mattered. I mean, I think that would have actually been worse. I don't know. I feel like somehow it would have been worse.
Yeah, I feel like you would give it like 1.5 or maybe
or
1.
0. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, because you could do 0. I said 1 to 5, but 0 is also an option if you just don't want to. You don't think it's worth the rating. So
fair enough.
Tanya, you watched this when it first came out. How many kisses are you giving it?
Maybe 2.5. And it's not because of how much I like how the theme song points out its hypocrisy or how much nostalgia it gave me. The show, like, objectively has little to no representation, and the messages were problematic as hell. Although, like, I think it could be an attempt at satire. A problematically bad one, but an attempt at satire. I mean, arguably, it's a better one than its parody.
At least it didn't do blackface.
Yeah, at least
that's
it was
the bar now.
Blackface. Oh God. Or maybe all of this is just like an attempt to not traumatize myself.
Probably. You're in denial. It's okay. I would be too.
I'm in denial. Oh. But yeah, anyway, I'm giving my kisses to Punch. That's the name of the singer of the theme song, Jam Loey Rak. God, why do all my kisses go to the singers of theme songs?
Because the characters are that irredeemable? I literally gave mine to like non-human characters. I think you're good.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And I will say just one more thing, like, even though the representation here is very problematic, I will give them, like, inside my points, I've also added they at least did put a person, people with, some kind of disability, or like, at least they did have a character, whereas like, our previous
and allowed them to be a person,
which is, our previous show we did, Hani Ridango, there was none. So I'll give them that. I mean, it's not much, but it's something.
It's something.
Yeah. So hey, well, Tanya, would you recommend our audience to watch this drama? That's long. That was very long.
Baby!
God, that's long. That was very long.
I mean, if you are doing research on classic Thai dramas, I mean, be my guest. Or if you're looking for a series where you can tell other people about, like, the ridiculous plot, maybe give it a watch. I mean, Faith and I did that too. Friends.
So they love hearing the plot.
Me too.
The plot, yeah.
But yeah, whatever you do not watch it if you're younger than 18. Even if you're older than 18, do not watch it with someone younger than 18. Just
no, please
don't.
Do not traumatize children. Thank you. But you know what, Tanya? I thought you told me that, you said the original rating was PG-13.
Well, that was true, but also that rating is broken as the plot's logic.
Broken.
But yeah. Anyway, would you recommend this drama?
I feel the same as you. I would only recommend it to adults who are like really into like classic Thai dramas. Like they're like, I have to watch every classic Thai drama. Then okay, sure, I guess. And like you said, the plot is wild, so they will be entertained. I will give them that. Say what you want about this drama. It will keep you watching. That's what kept me watching. I mean, I literally hated the main guy. Like, I was hate watching. You know, I was like, God, fuck him the entire time. But I kept watching it because it was just so engaging. It was so compelling. Like, the story just kept getting more interesting. And I was like, oh, I gotta keep watching. Oh, God, I gotta keep watching, you know?
Yeah. When I rewatched it, even when I knew how it ended, I was still like, oh damn, what's gonna happen next? Is Buntai actually helping Surya? LOL, Sansanito to watch it off again!
I know, it's just so...
Oh no, he tried to kiss her and she like
oh
turned
my God,
away.
It's just so addicting. It always kept me on my toes. And I just had to know how it would end. I had to know. And so I had to watch it. So if that makes some people think, okay, I gotta watch this, then okay, fine. But yeah.
Yeah. And also if you just want to watch it for Sansani, no judgments.
She's totally worth it. I think it's worth it just for her. Just for the actress. Just watch it for her.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if you do decide you want to watch Love Slave, if any of you do decide that, we are not here to judge. We totally watched it. But here are a few content warnings.
Love Slave contains depictions of suicide, attempted suicide, suicide ideation, and self-harm.
It also depicts emotional and physical abuse, kidnapping, forced servitude, and stalking.
Viewer discretion is advised. And that's the end of our second episode.
Woo!
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks so much. To make sure you're always up to date on our latest episodes, please subscribe to or follow Accidental Kiss on your favorite podcast app and YouTube.
If you would like to contact us, please email us at kiss.accidental@gmail.com.
Also, please follow and reach out to us on all the socials. We would love to hear from you.
Let us know if you have any other Asian drama series you'd like to hear us cover on the show. Your suggestion might make it into a future episode.
Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll be looking at Hanire Dango Season 2.
Until then, see you!
See you!
Stuck in an elevator where everything's a miss. Forced to marry the first guy you accidentally kiss. Betrayed by your only friend, so she can get the guy. The reasons above and more are why. The way we feel about Asian dramas is just so complicated. It is so complicated.